why I love Nestle Crunch.
Hey everyone, I'm back, and I'm here to talk about an uncontroversial movie about neo-Yazis. American History X, and yes, there is a song in this movie that my old outro is based off of. Now, it should be noted that this movie is rated R, so parents be careful if you're gonna show this movie to your kids. And no, it's not rated R because there's some blood in it and someone said the F word twice. There are some straight-up pornographic scenes in this movie. Yeah, this is not my average review where I talk about a cartoon and say the joystick is a metaphor for penis. This movie tackles very controversial and divisive topics. However, the main message of this movie is one of the most important lessons I think a movie has ever taught ever. The sad truth is, a movie like this, despite having an anti-racist message, would never be made today. There are some people who straight up paint this movie as a pro-racist movie somehow. You know what they say, yesterday's progressives are today's fascist. But I wanted to go over this movie because, well, for one thing I really like it, but also because I think this 27-year-old movie still has something to teach us today. We start with the opening credits and they go on for several minutes. I'm starting to see why this movie was 2 hours long. But then the movie finally begins with the main character Derek giving his girlfriend, some special hugs. But two individuals of color are trying to steal his car. His brother sneaks into his room and says, "Oh my god, that is so hot. Oh yeah, by the way, you're getting robbed." Yeah, I get he's trying to warn his brother, but he could have just knocked on the door really hard. He knew what he was doing. He was trying to sneak a peek. Derek grabs his gun with unlimited ammo. No, seriously, this thing never runs out of bullets. He also has a lot of, swastikas in his room. I guess he's a big fan of Hinduism. Ah yes, those totally real gun clips that hold 37 bullets. Now, one of the stylistic choices in this movie is that everything that takes place in the past is done in black and white, and everything in present day is in color. This makes my review of this movie a bit easier to follow, unless of course you're just listening to the video while washing dishes or something. If you zone out while watching this review, all you have to do is look at the screen to see if it's a flashback or not.
Bob, it's a travesty. Arguing for Hitler as a civil rights hero. You've got to draw the line.
Derek's younger brother grew into a little 4chan troll, 5 years before 4chan was even a thing.
Arguing for Hitler as a civil rights hero.
I'm gonna be honest here, I think Konge says crazier stuff on a daily basis. Now, the biggest reason why this movie hasn't aged so well is the pacing.
How you doing?
Fine.
Things at home okay?
Yeah?
Oh my god, this is slow. If you took out all the pointless scenes, this movie would only be an hour and 15 minutes long. The principal isn't happy with Derek's brother writing about Mein Kampf, so he will become his new history teacher.
We would call this class American History X.
Yep, that's why this movie is called American History X. It makes about as much sense as anything else, so let's just roll with it.
All right, your first assignment is to prepare for me a new paper due tomorrow.
Oh, come on, Sweeney. It took me a week to read Mein Kampf. That isn't fair.
Kid's a fast reader, that's a 720-page book. Also, from what I've been told, Hitler was a very, very horrible writer. The person he has to write his paper on is his brother. I really hope he writes down where his brother got that gun with unlimited ammo. 3 black kids are beating up a white kid. Derek's brother stands up to them, seeing a potential new recruit. It should be noted that this movie doesn't just have racist white people in it, but racist black people as well. Now, I know someone's gonna comment, it's prejudice plus power. The thing is though, they basically have the same amount of power. They're both citizens. Granted, a black person killing a white person would have probably received more jail time than Derek did, but at the end of the day, they're both still racist. In a way, racism is kind of like an infinite loop that feeds into itself. White people are racist towards black people, a handful of those black people end up being racist towards random white people, and a handful of those random white people end up becoming racist against black people. Rinse and repeat. Now, of course, it's more complicated than that. generational trauma, slavery, redlining, immigration, so on and so forth. We learn the principal's name is Bob Sweeney, and that Derek killed a few Crips. We're also introduced to the villain of the movie, or at least the closest thing we have to the villain of the movie, Cameron Alexander, the main guy who spreads white supremacist propaganda in this town. They've been trying to pin something on him, but the guy has a complete clean record. No matter how hateful hate speech is, according to the government, it's not illegal. After all, this is America, not Nazi Germany, or the UK.
Alexander found in Derek his shining prince. Essentially, he used Derek to recruit a slew of insecure, frustrated, and impressionable kids.
Not gonna lie, that's a pretty good strategy. He was the brains and Derek was the guy with the charisma. He knew he had the right words to manipulate white people who were frustrated, but unfortunately for him, he did not know how to say those words properly, and he didn't have the face for it. But Derek did. Believe it or not, this happens in real life a lot more often than you think. Very often, the guy you think is in charge is actually just a second in command, and a puppet to the real mastermind. Believe it or not, I actually came across a few of these types in Texas, and I just told them, nah, I'm good. We learned that Derek's father was a fireman, and he was killed by a black guy. Derek, instead of blaming, the guy who killed his father, decided to blame all non-whites. Now, unlike racist and sexist people, I'm a good boy. I always go after people who directly wronged me. That's the right thing to do. At least, I thought it was. Almost all of the racist people in this movie are from, well, lower class families. They don't have the best education available to them, so in a way you can make the argument that the system creates people like this.
Venice Beach didn't always look like this. It used to be a great neighborhood. The boardwalk's always been a dump, but when my dad moved us out here, Venice was a nice, quiet place to grow up.
Now this is another important message the movie is trying to convey. The racist white people and the racist black people in this movie aren't, well, exactly the best white and black people. When you think of a racist person, you don't often picture a well-educated man in a suit. One of the main things that upsets people is when things are unfair, and there are very few things that are more unfair than having a loved one taken away from you. Now, he does have someone to blame, but he decides to blame all non-white people for some reason.
For the years, though, it's just gone to hell. The gangs are like a plague. They moved west from Inglewood and South Central and basically took over.
That's another great point. Often hatred is born from a fear response. The three strongest emotions we feel are hatred, love, and fear. It's a primal emotion. When we see something like a tiger coming at us, we feel afraid, and that fear quickly turns into anger, which gives a human an adrenaline rush. Without these emotions, yeah, our species wouldn't have survived. People who are bullied or harassed are afraid, making them the perfect person to be recruited into any group. A bunch of poor people who just so happen to be black move in. Crime goes up. White people feel afraid. A fraction of those white people think that black people are the problem, and an even smaller percentage of them, mostly young males, decide that they should do something about them. And that leads to a lot of them joining a gang. After all, there's safety in numbers. Derek's fat friend is getting his ass kicked in basketball, so he begs Derek to help him out. See what I mean? There truly is safety in numbers. We get a basketball race war. Whoever wins gets to own the court. Derek gets elbowed in the face at one point. And the second most unrealistic thing happens in this movie. The whites actually beat the blacks at basketball. Yeah, that would never happen in real life. We cut back to present day where Derek is finally getting released from prison after serving his 3-year sentence. And he has grown his hair out and seems to be acting differently. Yeah, this is something I've never understood about skinheads. Why you guys shave your heads? White people have pretty good hair. Why get rid of it? Also, don't white nationalists believe that Jews have curly hair? Wouldn't one be able to infiltrate you guys if you just shaved it all off? We get to the scene that my outro song is based off of.
At the zoo, we've washed ourselves in there.
God, I love parody music so much. Not gonna lie though, it's kind of awkwardly shoved into the movie. It just comes out of nowhere with no build-up. Also, it doesn't connect with anything else. It's like a Family Guy cutaway gag. We cut to another flashback of Derek riling up a bunch of white nationalists to attack a bunch of illegal immigrants. Of course, he brings up common white nationalist talking points about how the government seems to care more about these people than their own people.
It's about decent, hard-working Americans falling through the cracks and getting the shaft because their government cares more about the constitutional rights of a bunch of people who aren't even citizens of this country. On the Statue of Liberty, it says, "Give me you're tired, you're hungry, you're poor." Well, it's Americans who are tired and hungry and poor.
Now we can understand where people like him are coming from. Sometimes it seems like the government cares more about immigrants than their own veterans. But the problem is his anger should be directed at the government, not all non-white people. Also, this argument really only works for illegal immigrants, not all immigrants, and especially not all non-white people. Hey, can I tell you about black people and IQ statistics along with how they commit the most crime per capita? Sure, but after that, want to talk about IQ statistics when it comes to Jews and Asians, and also crime statistics when it also comes to those groups? No.
And I say until you take care of that, close the fucking book. Because we're losing. We're losing our right to pursue our destiny. We're losing our freedom. So that a bunch of fucking foreigners can come in here and exploit our country. And this isn't something that's going on far away. This isn't something that's happening places we can't do anything about it. It's happening right here. He went under and now some fucking Korean owns it who fired these guys and is making a killing because he hired 40 fucking border jumpers.
I get where he's coming from, but hiring quote-unquote border jumpers is the smart thing to do. The dollar goes very far in Mexico, so people from there will work for less money. Yes, it's not fun looking for a low-skilled job only to lose it to an immigrant. But the thing is, the business owner wants to make money. I myself have hired editors from outside the US because, well, more often than not, they're cheaper. When it comes to capitalism, don't hate the player, hate the game. Derek and his friends hide their identity and they charge at the store. I believe this is what the media refers to as peaceful protesting. Oh wait, they're right-wing, sorry. They clashed with the other side. Hopefully insurance can cover most of the property damage they commit. Some of you might be thinking to yourself, why don't the police do anything about this? Well, the fact of the matter is they attacked fast and left just as quickly. The police can't be everywhere all at once. Do not look up how many crimes actually go unresolved. It will give you massive anxiety. The sad truth is the law more so gives you the illusion of safety than actually making you safe. I should also bring up that while Danny, Derek's brother, does have an iron cross, which is often viewed as a white nationalist symbol, it's not always a white nationalist symbol. In fact, the German military still uses it today.
Wait a minute, white people commit crimes against white people too.
Yeah, but they're not offing each other in record numbers all over America. Look at the statistics, for Christ's sakes. It's 1 in every 3 black males is in some phase of the correctional system.
This is a common white nationalist talking point. They love to bring up crime statistics. The average leftist will argue against this by saying, no, those are wrong, you're racist. How you should argue against this is ask them about the crime statistics in other countries. Lower class people tend to commit more crimes than upper class people because they have less opportunities. And black people in America, due to things like redlining, generational trauma, and other stuff, are often lower class. The best part is they actually bring up some of this stuff in this movie.
Well, maybe it says something about prejudice in the judicial system.
Yeah, if you want to talk about criminal statistics, you might want to take a look at the social inequalities that produce them.
Yap. You know what? That's exactly what I hate. Because what you're doing, Davina, is taking one thing and calling it something else and just, alleviating the responsibility that these people have for their own actions. It's like saying, it's not a riot, it's rage. It's not crime, it's poverty. It's just nonsense.
God, a movie made today would never bring stuff like this up. They talk about Rodney King, the Rodney King riots, and other stuff like that. And Derek makes it clear that he thinks that the KKK is a bunch of losers. Yeah, not even white nationalists respect the Klan. It is interesting that the way they talk about Rodney King in this movie is very similar to how people talk about George Floyd today. As the old saying goes, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Christ, Lincoln freed the slaves, what, like 130 years ago? How long does it take to get your act together?
This is another very common talking point. Oh, slavery ended 150 years ago. How are they still suffering even today? Well, just because slavery quote-unquote ended didn't mean it actually ended. Knowing Better did a very excellent video about neo-slavery, and I actually met that guy at VidCon. One could very easily make the argument that slavery didn't truly end in America until World War II. Some people would even argue that there's slavery in America today due to things like private prisons. While I personally do not agree with this take, I can understand where people who make that argument are coming from. Derek forces his meat down his sister's throat. Okay, that came out wrong.
She can't breathe!
But don't worry, she tries to get back at him by attacking him with a baseball bat. Unfortunately for her, he grabs her shaft and oh god damn it, that came out wrong as well. Derek's mom kicks him out of the house, which wasn't that smart of a move on her part. I mean, he was the main breadwinner, but whatever. The black guys from the basketball court tried to rob him. He shot one of them to death, and the other one, Well, he was pretty rude. Derek just wanted to reunite his foot with the curb, and this guy very rudely put his head between them. In all seriousness, when it comes to getting curb stomped, you might as well just take the bullet. Oh, God, the sound that teeth made on that pavement. You can just feel it going down your spine. Derek curb stomps the guy so hard he actually kills him, and then he's arrested by the police. Now, one could make the argument that Derek was just defending himself. After all, his house was under attack. However, he chased them down, and due to his Nazi tattoos, it does seem like he had the intent to kill them. If he went out and killed them himself, he might have gotten 10 years to life in prison. But because they attacked him first, and presumably because he's white, along with the fact that this was probably his first offense, he only got 3 years in prison. We can also tell by his facial expression that he absolutely does not regret his action. Derek's brother himself even confirms that it would have been life in prison if he hadn't testified. In the present day, Danny goes to a neo-Yahtzee party. Derek also shows up and people treat him like a legend, but he doesn't want anything to do with them anymore.
Stop trying, down there.
He's one of those proud to be people. I hate those guys.
Oh, wait a minute, Danny. He's not proud. No. He's a manipulative, self-righteous Uncle Tom.
Wait, what? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought an Uncle Tom was a black guy who prefers white people over black people. The guy got mad at Danny for writing a book report about Mein Kampf. I don't think he's an Uncle Tom. Derek breaks up with his girlfriend, he punches the white nationalist leader in the face, and he turns all the other white nationalists against himself. Balls the size of grapefruits, that one. 3 years ago when Derek was in prison, he quickly found out that pretty much every single black guy knew what he was. He's a pretty famous white nationalist. Look at the bright side, Derek. At least you're not a pedo or a rapist. He quickly joins an Aryan Brotherhood gang, and he gets put to work in the laundry room. The black guy who works with him is trying to be friends with him, but he doesn't care for the guy, mainly because, well, he's black. But Derek quickly finds out that this white nationalist gang isn't as hardcore as he is. Eventually, over a year, Derek finally becomes friends with the black guy he's cleaning underwear with. And I don't blame him, the guy is just too damn funny. Nothing destroys racism like humor. In all seriousness though, you can take any white nationalist, black nationalist, or any type of racist person, stick them on an island with a person of a race they don't like, and eventually over a few months they'll start talking to them. Humans desire companionship. Even some of the most racist people I know will date outside their race. Derek starts to learn that some black people might not have it as easy in America as he once thought.
So you stole a TV? What's embarrassing about that?
I stole a TV from a store that was right next door to a donut shop, all right? I run out, the store owner's running behind me yelling, bam, I run into 3 cops, all right? Oh, see, I told you it was embarrassing, you laughed.
Wait a sec. That doesn't make sense. No, you didn't get 6 years for stealing a TV, man. Come on.
I go in the store, I come out, the police officer grabs my arm, the TV falls on his foot and breaks it. They said I threw the TV at the officer. So, 6 years.
Come on, tell the truth. You chucked it at him, or something.
Like I said, I came out of the store, he grabbed my arm, it fell on his foot.
And then we get to one of the most controversial scenes in the movie. Derek's gang decides to give him, some unconsensual special hugs in the shower. If you're wondering why they're doing this, it's because he played basketball with the other black guys. No, I'm not joking. After they're done giving him unconsensual special hugs, they bash his head on the wall and he lands face first on the ground. God, that floor is so unsanitary. I don't know about you guys, but I'm one of those people who enters public showers with flip-flops on. I can't imagine putting my penis on it. He was violated up to the point that he needed stitches, and the principal comes to visit him. He says the best line in any movie I have ever seen.
Right now, your anger is consuming you. Your anger is shutting down the brain God gave you. Has anything you've done made your life better?
As cringy as this line actually made a tear fall from my eye. Sometimes we can just be consumed with so much hate, with so much rage, with so much vengeful energy, that we stop caring about ourselves and care more about other people around us, wanting them to suffer just as much as we have suffered. Sometimes, when you're at your most angriest, you just have to stop and ask yourself, is what I'm doing making my life any better? Derek tells his little brother what happened to him, and they work together to get rid of all their World War II memorabilia. But then we get our final flashback and we learn where Derek's racist ideas came from, and honestly, I really don't like this scene.
I got 2 black guys on my squad now who got their job over a couple of white guys who actually scored higher in the test. Does that make sense? Huh? Yeah, sure, everything's equal now, But I got two guys watching my back, responsible for my life, who aren't as good as two other guys. You only got the job because they were black, not because they were the best.
First of all, there's nothing wrong with reading about Tom Clancy. And second of all, affirmative action is far from perfect. The idea that someone can have a problem with affirmative action and then become a white supremacist is a bit silly. Sure, it's possible, but it's highly improbable. But the thing is, yes, Derek's dad is indeed a racist person.
I don't know, maybe some of what he says is kind of... It's bullshit. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. No. It's bullshit.
What? I only thought the #1 YouTuber could say that word.
What a fucking...
Nick not trying to get a ham busy.
Derek is asked by his parole officer and his old principal if he can talk to the white supremacist gang for them. This will lead to nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's a line about them getting injured, but they'll live. If you're wondering what this is about, well, there's a deleted scene that explains this. No, I do not know why it was taken out of the movie. Derek's brother is shot by the black guy he stood up to earlier in the movie, and we're left wondering how this will affect Derek. Will he go back to being a white nationalist? Will he become even worse? Will he swear revenge? Or will he continue turning his life around? We're not given any answers. It's up to the audience to decide. The movie ends with a final narration.
Hate is baggage. Life's too short to be pissed off all the time. It's just not worth it.
The main message of this movie is simple. Life's too short to be pissed off all the time. This movie's budget is pretty low. It has some pacing issues and it's far from perfect, but I think it has a very important message that we can all learn from. I understand a lot of people will say things like, bro, it's just a movie, but movies are made by people. Well, at least currently they are until AI takes over, that is. Currently, movies don't just grow on trees. A group of people make them all working together, trying their best to spread their message to the world. I'm glad I saw this movie and I believe it taught me a thing or two. Hopefully, if you're above the age of 18, you will check it out yourself sometime. My next movie review is going to be on a much lighter topic, Little Rascals. I hope you guys check it out. I would like to increase the budget of these videos, so if you can find it in your heart to donate to me on Patreon, that would be a big help.